Several years have passed since the events of the third movie. The undefeated Yuri Boyka now lives and trains in Kiev, as he is wanted in Russia for escaping from prison. The fighter continues to secure victory after victory in the ring. In the Russian maximum security prison Black Hills, where Yuri was the undisputed champion, a new prisoner champion has emerged, a real monster nicknamed Nightmare. This beast literally tears his opponents apart. Boyka visits the church, makes another generous donation, and brings a box of Bibles. The priest says that violence won't help him find answers to his questions. Yuri responds that, for him, it's just a sport. But the priest is convinced that violence can completely consume a person's soul. In the Kiev Sports Center where Boyka trains, his manager Kirill rushes in and tells him that he has a chance to participate in a prestigious championship in Budapest. To do this, he needs to win a local tournament and impress the scouts who are selecting the best fighters. Yuri's opponent is a Russian fighter, Viktor Gregov. The opponents exchange powerful blows. Boyka, as usual, is unstoppable. At first, Viktor tries to resist, but Yuri quickly overpowers him and knocks him down twice. When his opponent gets up for the third time, it angers Boyka, and he finishes Gregov off with a powerful strike. The champion clearly impressed the scouts, and under the cheers of the audience, he celebrates his victory while Viktor is unable to get up from the ring floor. The scouts tell Yuri that they eagerly await him at the Budapest Championship. On his way out of the center, Boyka sees Gregov being taken to the hospital in critical condition. The priest's words echo in the champion's mind. The next day, Yuri learns from Kirill that Gregov died in the hospital, which deeply affects him. Boyka discovers that his deceased opponent left behind a wife named Alma in Russia. He forces Kirill to get him a fake passport so he can go and apologize to the widow. Neither the upcoming tournament in Budapest nor being wanted in Russia can stop Yuri. In the small town of Drovny in Russia, Alma mourns her late husband. During the funeral, a crime boss named Zurab arrives and demands that the widow repay her husband's huge debt. She responds that she will work for the gangster until she pays off every penny. It seems Zurab doesn't mind taking advantage of the beautiful woman. Yuri collects his new passport from his manager and travels to Drovny by minibus. He finds Alma working with children at a local sports club. Boyka sees her being taken away by Zurab's men to the gangster's club, where underground fights take place. Upon entering the club, Yuri notices Alma working as a waitress to pay off her late husband's debt to Zurab, which he took out to open the sports club. Boyka watches the undefeated arena champion, Igor Kazimir, brutally beat another opponent, arrogantly declaring that the ring is his. Alma notices Yuri staring at her and asks what he wants, but before he can answer, Zurab's men approach him and insist on having a talk outside. Outside, the thugs warn Boyka that the waitress belongs to the boss and no one is allowed to approach her. Yuri quickly deals with the goons and takes one of their guns. Zurab arrives with a dozen more thugs and threatens to destroy Boyka if he ever goes near Alma again. After Yuri leaves, the gangster orders his men to keep an eye on him. The next day, Boyka goes to the club, outsmarts the guard watching Alma, and tells her the truth. He apologizes for Viktor's death and gives her the prize money. However, the furious widow returns the envelope and orders him to leave. Zurab is desperately searching for new, powerful fighters as interest in his club is fading. Just then, Boyka knocks out a guard and enters the club. He offers to fight in the arena in exchange for Alma's freedom. The mob boss agrees to 3 fights under his own rules. Boyka is shocked when Zurab calls him by name, realizing that the gangster knows he's wanted by the police. Kirill calls Boyka, urging him to return, but Yuri says he needs to stay in Russia for another week. Before training, Alma angrily confronts him, saying she doesn't need his help. Yuri replies that he won't leave until he makes amends. During training, a bully tries to mess with Boyka. The time for the first fight arrives. Boyka's opponent is Boris Tarsov, one of the best local fighters. They exchange blows for a few minutes, but Yuri quickly gains the upper hand and knocks Boris down. After the fight, Igor tries to intimidate the victor. In the locker room, Alma gives Yuri a glass of water and allows him to train at the sports club. The children admire Boyka as he practices his punches. In the second fight, Zurab unfairly sends 2 opponents against Yuri, the Azarov brothers. It's incredibly challenging to fight 2 skilled fighters at once, but Boyka holds his ground. One of the brothers delivers powerful kicks to Yuri's lower back, causing him immense pain. Summoning all his strength, Boyka knocks both brothers out. Alma starts to realize that Yuri's motives are noble. For a handsome fee, Zurab asks a corrupt police officer, Koichev, to bring Nightmare to him. In return, Zurab promises to hand over the fugitive Boyka. When Yuri visits the sports club, Alma makes a bomb for his injured back. Boyka asks why she doesn't just leave town. She explains that the club was her and Victor's dream. Without it, the children would end up on the streets or in gangs. Zurab tries to turn Alma against Yuri, claiming that Victor's death was no accident. The gangster plans to kill Boyka after the final fight. Kirill calls again, urging Yuri to return, but he insists he has unfinished business. When Yuri gets back to his hotel room, Alma confronts him, demanding the truth about the fight with her husband. Boyka confesses that Victor was just an obstacle to victory and that he never meant to kill him. With tears in her eyes, Alma runs out of the room. In the third match, Boyka faces Igor Kazimir, the underground fight champion. Igor ruthlessly targets Yuri's injured back, but Boyka manages to counter and knocks Igor out with a powerful kick. As Yuri hurries to catch his bus to Kiev, Zurab stops him and demands one last fight against his true champion, or the deal is off. The guards bring Nightmare to the ring, a giant much bigger and stronger than Boyka. The monster throws Yuri around the ring like a rag doll, quickly knocking him down. But Boyka refuses to give up, standing up despite the pain. Using his speed and agility, he dodges Nightmare's attacks, breaking his leg and arm before throwing him out of the ring. Boyka celebrates his victory, but Zurab captures Alma, and his men brutally beat Yuri. Despite his injuries, Boyka fights back, taking down Zurab's men before chasing the gangster. Yuri catches Zurab, who tries to escape with Alma. With Alma's help, Boyka strangles Zurab and collapses from his wounds, asking for Alma's forgiveness before being arrested by the police. 6 months later, Yuri is back in Black Hills prison. Alma visits him, showing him the children's drawings and forgiving him. Later, Boyka returns to the old prison ring, proving once again to the cheering inmates that he remains the undisputed champion of the ring. How did you like the movie? Undisputed 4. Share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.